Wow. Please leave. Please leave. I am not okay with this. Please leave my job. I have to go.
Survivors of domestic violence are told to speak up, document everything. But for one Belle Glade mother, even that wasn't enough. Tonight, we're uncovering how her death fits into a larger deadly pattern and why advocates say the system is still falling short.
On the evening of July 11th, a young boy in Belle Glade, Florida, did what he was told to do. He called 911. He told the dispatcher that a dangerous man, his mother's ex-boyfriend, had broken into their house. In the background of that call, the dispatcher heard a man's voice shout, "Where is your mother?" followed by a single, terrifying gunshot. That single call wasn't just a cry for help, it was the tragic end to a story that began years before. It's a story that asks a painful question: how did a woman who followed every rule, who documented every threat, still end up dead? What if the place you should feel safest became a hunting ground? Shantae Butts, a mother of 4, knew that feeling intimately. She spent years trying to escape a man who wouldn't let her go. She had police reports, video evidence, and even an active warrant for his arrest, but it didn't save her. We're told that if we report a crime, the system will act, but what happens when that promise fails? What happens when a warrant for an arrest sits unexecuted for 6 fatal days? That's the core of this story. A story about a woman who did everything right, only to be failed by the very system designed to protect her. Join us as we explore the tragic case of Shantae Butts. If you find this story important, please give this video a like, and tell us where you are watching from, in the comments below. Welcome to True Crime Footprint, where we unveil the darkest mysteries and the most terrifying true crime tales. Kindly subscribe to this channel and turn on the notification bell, so you never miss any of our new stories. Your support keeps these stories alive. Shantae Butts was a 34-year-old mother of 4 in Belle Glade, Florida. She was a woman fighting not just for herself, but for her children, to escape a dangerous, escalating situation. For years, her life had been overshadowed by little Mac Williams, a man she had been with since her oldest son was 6 years old. Their relationship had ended, but Williams's obsession had not. Experts on domestic violence will tell you that the most dangerous time for a victim is when they try to leave. Williams wasn't just struggling to let go, his behavior was growing more aggressive and more unpredictable. Shantae had to fight for her freedom with every tool available to her. She meticulously reported Williams's stalking to the police, creating a paper trail of his harassment. She recorded video evidence of him waiting at her workplace. She had even captured him on her doorbell camera over 20 times in a single night.
Liz, Shantae Butts told deputies she was being stalked. She had the video, she filed reports, and just days later she was shot dead in her home. Shantae Butts was a mother of 4, shot and killed inside her Belle Glade home last week. Deputies say it was her son who called 911. The man accused of murdering her, Little Mac Williams, her ex, and the father of her children. Investigators say he also shot her current boyfriend who survived. Court records reveal a decade of abuse across multiple relationships. In 2024, Williams broke into Butts' home, choked her, and took her phone. He was convicted, ordered to stay away, but he came back.
Please leave.
She posted this video to Facebook of what appears to be Williams waiting at her job.
Please leave my job. I have to go.
She told deputies he later stole her gun. Then there's this, a log showing Williams on her doorbell camera more than 20 times in one night.
If law enforcement's being called, something's, going on. There's something major that's happened.
On July 5th, deputies issued a warrant for stalking, but he wasn't arrested. 6 days later, she was dead.
The homicide rate is high, especially when someone's trying to leave that abusive situation. That's when they're at the highest risk.
Advocates say survivors often do everything right and still don't make it out.
Shantae was doing everything right. She was following the rules, building a case, and desperately trying to stay one step ahead. In a final, decisive step, she convinced authorities to issue a warrant for Williams's arrest, specifically for stalking. That warrant was issued on July 5th. It was supposed to be the key to her freedom, the final piece of the puzzle that would put an end to the nightmare. But he was never arrested. This is where the story shifts from one of courageous survival to one of tragic failure. Shantae had done everything right, so why, just 6 days later, was it too late?
Some women, me, I'm putting myself in that category, make it okay for niggas not to be shit. By that, we'll get with somebody who we know ain't shit, right? Just go through the motions, you know, just being in our relationship because we so happy that somebody loves us. But we could just love ourselves if that makes sense.
The warrant that should have been her salvation was nothing more than a piece of paper, and a dangerous man was still free. The unexecuted warrant was a ticking clock, and on July 11th, at approximately 11:47 p.m., it ran out. Little Mac Williams, who was meant to be in custody, forced his way into Shantae Butts' home. He didn't come to talk, he came with a plan. Witness accounts confirm he broke in, and almost immediately, a confrontation began, but this was more than a fight, it was a desperate, possessive act of violence.
On the other side of that door, the deputies boarded up. They say at least 6 children were inside of this mobile home, and they had to listen as 2 people, one of which, their mother, was shot.
So you can't sleep right now? It's just her face. That's all I can remember.
This neighbor asked to remain anonymous for safety reasons, but she talked with me about what she witnessed Friday night after her son heard gunfire.
And he said, yeah, the door's still open. So I started walking over there.
As she entered this home on State Road 715 in Belle Glade, she says she saw the shooting suspect, Little Mac Williams, and even spoke with him briefly as he left the home.
I say, you know, where the kids? He said, they in there. I asked him where she was at. He said she was dead.
The neighbor says Williams was referring to Shantae Butts, his ex and mother to his children. She went inside where 6 children greeted her.
I said, where your mama? He said, she in now.
Keeping the kids out of the room, she first found Butts' boyfriend.
I thought he was dead because he wasn't moving.
Then she spotted Butts.
She was gone. She was gone. I can't shake that part.
You can't shake what part?
Her eyes, how she looked.
Traumatized, but realizing the boyfriend was still alive, she tried to help.
I can just remember 17:22. 17:20, because I was counting the seconds between his breaths.
Medics rushed the boyfriend to the hospital where he's in stable condition. Palm Beach County deputies say Williams broke in through a window, started fighting the boyfriend, and then fired multiple shots.
He had gashes in his face, like scratches. Like they had been fighting. You could tell the room, they was fighting.
Checking court records, Williams has a lengthy rap sheet, pleading guilty to domestic battery by strangulation, felony battery, and drug charges. However, the witness tells me Butts never thought the relationship would cost her her life.
She was scared. She wasn't expecting it. The look on her face was like she wasn't expecting it.
Now, Williams had a warrant out for his arrest just days before this shooting happened on a burglary charge, but he wasn't picked up in time.
Inside, Shantae's young son was playing video games. He was the one who first heard a commotion and found his younger siblings in a state of shock. With a presence of mind that defies his age, he moved them to safety before calling 911. What he told the dispatcher was urgent. What the dispatcher heard in the background was a chilling demand from Williams. Where is your mother? Not, where is Shantae, but, where is your mother? A possessive, terrifying question that made it clear he saw her not as a person, but as a possession. The 911 call ended with the definitive sound of a gunshot. Deputies responded instantly and found Williams just a short distance from the home. He surrendered, lying on the ground with his hands behind his back, an act that spoke volumes about his criminal history and familiarity with law enforcement. The deputies entered the home and found a scene of profound tragedy, 2 victims with gunshot wounds. Shantae Butts was unresponsive on the bed and was pronounced dead just 11 minutes after the initial 911 call. Her current boyfriend, also a victim, was found wounded but was transported to the hospital with a chance of survival. This tragic story is a stark reminder of the extreme dangers faced by those in abusive situations. If you know someone who might be struggling, please share this video with them. Your support could make a difference. The story of Shantae's final moments raises a haunting question. What was Little Mac Williams's motive, and how would he try to explain away the undeniable evidence?
Now in a WPBF 25 News investigation, we take a closer look at the criminal record of the man now charged with killing his ex-girlfriend. It happened Friday night at a home in Belglade, where officials say Little Mac Williams fatally shot Shantae Butts, a mother of 4. Another man in that home was also shot but survived. Our reporter Rachel Perry has learned the victim reported Williams for domestic battery and stalking within the last year.
Despite being found guilty of choking Shantae Butts in July of last year, court records show the most jail time Little Mac Williams served was 157 days, with each case after that carrying less time in jail. On Friday night, Palm Beach County Sheriff's deputies arrested Little Mac Williams, claiming he broke into this home in Belglade before killing his ex-girlfriend, Shantae Butts. WPBF 25 News went through Williams' court records, finding several felony convictions dating back to 2014 involving at least 3 different women. The first case involving Shantae Butts, the victim in this weekend's homicide, was reported in July of 2024 when she called 911 to report Williams had forced his way into her home and choked her. He was found guilty of domestic battery by strangulation and sentenced to 157 days in jail. In October 2024, Williams served 48 days in jail for violating a no-contact order when officials say he showed up at Butts' home. A few months later, and Williams was found guilty of simple battery for breaking into Butts' home and fighting her. He served 66 days in jail. Roughly 10 days ago, Butts reported Williams was stalking her. Officials put out a warrant for his arrest, but just 6 days later, and he was arrested and charged in Butts' death.
There are frequent flyers when it comes to domestic violence, like in any other area of criminal law. The focus of the state attorney's office is to go after violent offenders and habitual offenders. And in domestic violence, that's no different.
This wasn't a sudden act of rage. It was the predictable and tragic conclusion to a long history of violence. Little Mac Williams was no stranger to law enforcement. His criminal record contained numerous prior arrests for domestic violence. With Shantae Butts as the consistent victim, he was already a wanted man, with an active felony warrant for burglary and theft. As a convicted felon, he was legally barred from owning a firearm. Despite this, detectives suspected he had stolen a handgun from Shantae's car just days before the shooting. This was a man who not only ignored the law but deliberately escalated his actions. In his post-Miranda interview, Williams attempted to shift the blame entirely. He claimed he entered the house through the front door and immediately got into a fight with the other man, Shantae's new boyfriend, a man he alleged he didn't know. Williams insisted that the other man had a gun, and that it went off during their struggle. He denied shooting anyone and stated he had no idea how Shantae or her boyfriend were shot. But his story collapsed under the weight of the evidence and the witness accounts. Multiple people inside the house, including 2 other adults, identified Williams as the shooter. His own words, captured by the 911 dispatcher, contradicted his claims of not knowing Shantae's boyfriend. The most damning detail came from Shantae's son, who witnessed Williams strangling his mother before the shooting. This act, in particular, points to a clear intent to inflict severe harm and control. It was a crime driven by extreme possessiveness and jealousy, a final, violent attempt to control Shantae's life and relationships. This case forces us to face an uncomfortable truth. A man with a documented history of violence and an active stalking warrant was still free to carry out his plan. It reveals the devastating consequences of a system that can, and often does, fail victims.
In reality, we just not feeling like we housing a nigga, but in reality, we housing a nigga. And from the outside looking in, it looked like he's helping or contributing because your life is still going on the same way. Reality, you up in that bitch screaming to the top of your lungs because every time you turn around, the bill keep flying past that bitch. You gotta catch it. You gotta be the bill catcher. He may be contributing to your life, but he ain't contributing to your bills. In reality, because you so hell bent on doing for yourself, or I been paying my bills. I ain't gonna let no nigga pay my bills. This and that. No, bitch, let him pay half.
Little Mac Williams had a long history of domestic violence, But this time, for the first time, he was facing the ultimate charge. Would the system that failed to protect Shantae finally deliver justice? Little Mac Williams was apprehended without incident and charged with a series of severe crimes. He faces charges including first-degree murder with a firearm, attempted first-degree murder, burglary, and aggravated stalking. During his initial court appearance, he was assigned a public defender and was ordered to be held without bail. This decision was a powerful signal from the justice system, acknowledging the severity of his actions and the danger he posed. But Shantae Butts' story is more than a list of charges and a court hearing. It's a devastating reminder of the extreme danger faced by individuals trapped in abusive relationships, especially when they attempt to break free. Shantae did everything she could to protect herself and her children. Her proactive, courageous efforts were ultimately not enough. The fact that a stalking warrant was issued for Williams but he was not arrested before her murder underscores a critical, fatal flaw in our systems of protection. When a victim does everything right, the system must act with the same urgency. Before we close, there was a detail in that 911 call you may have missed, a tiny clue that spoke volumes about the nature of this crime. If you didn't catch it, go back and listen again. Shantae Butts was a survivor who fought relentlessly for her freedom. Her story is a powerful, tragic lesson about the unheeded warnings and the urgent need for a better system. We honor her memory by ensuring her story is heard. If you or someone you know is experiencing domestic violence, please know that you are not alone. There are resources that can help. The Palm Beach County Victim Services 24-hour helpline can be reached, and the National 24-hour Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is available by dialing 988. If you found this story important, please share it to help raise awareness and support others in need. To ensure you don't miss our future true crime stories and the lessons they teach, kindly subscribe to our channel. Our hearts ache for Shantae's family. Words feel inadequate, but please know you are held in deepest sympathy and prayers. May you find strength and comfort in memories of Shantae. Thank you for watching, for your attention, and for joining us on this journey of reflection. Stay informed, stay vigilant, and above all, stay safe. See you on our next video.